1260 KDUZ News, I'm Mark Wodarczyk. A former Glencoe businessman is accused of taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from his family, neighbors, and fellow businessmen and is now seeking Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection in federal court in Minneapolis.
Nearly 45 victims have come forward in and around the Glencoe area, along with creditors including banks, credit card companies, and other agencies, claiming that Brian Kep swindled them out of almost $1.5 million. In fact, Gary Ballard bluntly told the McLeod County Chronicle, "We were swindled, pure and simple." Kep is now under investigation for possible fraud in connection with his business, the Glencoe Garden Center. Some victims apparently were told by Kep that he needed the money to tie up loose ends before a government loan arrived. Abby Pop reporting.
Tom Van Hahn, the attorney representing Kep, was asked for a statement by the Chronicle. His response, he declined to make a comment at this time. Former Minnesota Department of Revenue Auditor Pamela Marie Dellis has been sentenced to 60 months in prison. The woman from Lindstrom pleaded guilty after prosecutors say she created false tax refunds and kept the proceeds. Her niece already has been sentenced to this in the scheme, and her sister is awaiting sentencing. Out-of-state telephone scammers are at it again, this time targeting Xcel Energy customers in Minnesota. Xcel spokesman Steve Ralstead says the con artists typically call older people.
Telling our customers that they received their monthly payment, but that the customer forgot to sign the check, and then they asked them for credit card numbers in order to pay the bill, supposedly. This is certainly not what Xcel Energy does.
Ralstead says more than 30 Minnesota Xcel Energy customers have reported they were called by the scammers. He says there are probably many more victims who have not yet come forward. Xcel advises customers to get a caller phone number if possible, promptly hang up and notify authorities. For now, it will be business as usual at post offices across the state this week. It was reported that the U.S. Postal Service is likely to miss a $5.5 billion payment to its retiree health fund due at the end of the month. Minnesota spokesman Pete Nowacki says there have been reports that the post office would have to close and go into bankruptcy.
That's not going to be the case. We will continue to operate. What the Postmaster General has said is we'll pay our employees, we'll pay our suppliers, we'll keep mail moving. We're just not going to be able to make that payment as scheduled.
A new convenience store on the south side of Hutchinson is now open for business. The Quick Trip on Highway 15 South opened at 5 this morning and will be offering customers a variety of specials. Store officials say an official ribbon-cutting ceremony will be held Tuesday, September 13th at 10 in the morning. Twin Cities-based grocery chain Super Value said yesterday it will sell most of its gas stations as a way to free up cash. Super Value will sell 107 of its 134 fuel centers this fall. Super Value said it will still be able to offer rewards to grocery customers at the fuel centers that are being sold. The sales of the fuel centers include Holiday Station stores, gas stations buying 15 stations, 8 from Cub Foods in Minnesota, 2 from Hornbachers in North Dakota, and 5 from Albertsons in Montana. The Federal Aviation Administration continues its investigation of a fatal plane crash in McLeod County that killed a pilot from Eden Prairie. Robert Ray Kooiman died at a hospital after the Monday night crash. His 54-year-old son survived and remains in the hospital. A Le Sueur man faces criminal charges after pocket dialing 911 while in the middle of a drug deal.
The Blue Earth County Dispatch received a 911 call at about 3:45 Monday morning, but there was no response from the person on the line. The line stayed open, though, and authorities heard references to selling drugs and being a dealer. They traced the call to the River Hills Mall parking lot in Mankato and arrested 22-year-old Bryce Thomas Prax with drugs and drug paraphernalia in his possession. He faces misdemeanor and petty misdemeanor charges. Abby Pop reporting.
Kimball City Council has scheduled a special meeting to discuss and adopt its city's preliminary 2012 budget and discuss the design of an upcoming utility and street improvement project. The public meeting is this evening at 6:30 at Kimball City Hall. Minneapolis Mayor R.T. Ryback is in line for a top position in the Democratic National Committee. The head of the DNC has nominated the three-term mayor as one of 5 vice chairmen. Nominees will be voted on Saturday in Chicago. Ryback was an early supporter of President Barack Obama before the 2008 election. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke will speak to a small economic policy group in Minneapolis. Bernanke's speech to the Economic Club of Minnesota today will be closely scrutinized for any hints of what the Fed may do at its next policy-making meeting. The GOP candidates criticized the president and each other during last night's presidential debate. ABC's Brad Wheelis has more.
Focus on the White House. No surprise, President Obama was criticized during the GOP debate on MSNBC.
We selected as a president a guy who'd never worked in the private sector.
Michelle Bachmann says it's important to repeal health care reform.
If we fail to repeal Obamacare in 2012, it will be with us forever.
She says an executive order won't do the trick, something other candidates have promised to do. Social Security?
It is a Ponzi scheme.
Rick Perry not backing down from his criticism of the program. Perry took Mitt Romney to task on jobs.
I'm proud of what we were able to do in a tough situation.
Michael Dukakis created jobs 3 times faster than you did, Mitt.
The president gets his turn tonight. ABC's Ann Compton.
To respond to that flood of Republican criticism, Brad, President Obama could not rent a bigger stage, the U.S. Capitol, where we are told his specific job proposals will be torn from a traditional Republican playbook, and they'll be paid for, Brad, not add to the deficit.
I'm Brad Wheelis, ABC News.
The environmental review of a proposed expansion of the Candy, Ohio County landfill is open for public review and comment now through October 5th. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency has prepared the assessment worksheet that examines potential impacts on land use, water quality, and air quality. The county proposing to add 2 cells to the landfill, increasing capacity for about 20 additional years of operation. More information available online at the MPCA's website, pca.state.mn.us. Award-winning author Lisa Wysocki will read from and sign copies of her debut mystery, The Opium Equation, at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 27th at the Hutchinson Public Library on Hassan Street. Wysocki, a noted co-author or ghostwriter of celebrity autobiographies and author of nonfiction equestrian books. Her first foray into fiction, The Opium Equation, is set in Tennessee and features a wacky cast of characters, including a horse trainer, songwriter, juvenile delinquent, country music star, eccentric woman of a certain age with electric blue hair, and a possibly psychic horse. Early reviews have been excellent. Wysocki, also an award-winning riding instructor and equine clinician who helps horses and humans